it's not there, I always think, oh, well, we look at it.
It's a baking hot day in Parnell Park ahead of this go-ahead Senior 1 football championship encounter between St Vincents and Na Fianna. This is, of course, Group 4. St Jude's have already won the group. They play Whitehall at O'Toole Park. That game going on at the same time as this. The winner of this game goes through. It is that simple. A draw, and, well, it's bad news for Vincents. Na Fianna will go through. Paul Clarke, what are you expecting?
Yeah, good afternoon. Very warm day today. Great to hear that players are going to have their water breaks at 15 minutes. Small enough crowd at the moment, you'd see them just all sitting up in the shade. Yeah, interesting day ahead. I think the greater advantage is with Na Fianna and the possibility of them winning and going through. It's a great drive for them. A little bit more desperation for Vincents that a loss will push them down, but down towards the bottom of the group, but I don't think they're going to be in that relegation playoff. That's going to be Whitehall. So, you know, I'm looking at the team sheets, and if the starting teams start as we expected, I think again Na Fianna have a stronger bench. Vincent's a little bit lacking in that, and obviously the heat is going to be a bigger factor as well, and see how players adapt to it.
St Vincents have beaten Whitehall Columkill. That means that if Whitehall win today, they can't overtake St Vincents. So Whitehall Columkill are going to the relegation playoffs regardless. Whoever comes third, well, they retain their senior status, but their season is over. First and second go through to the quarterfinals. This, of course, the first of 2 games live on Dubs TV today. Later on at 5:30, Kilmacud Crokes take on Skerries Harps. No team is yet actually guaranteed their place in the knockout stages. That includes Kilmacud Crokes, even though they've won both of their matches so far. We'll get to that group later on, but our concentration is on this one. Na Fianna, a team that have an awful lot of talent, have won underage titles, but haven't got their hands on that senior crown for quite a while. It is a wait they want to end, but to end that, then they have to get to the knockout stages. Let's have a look at Na Fianna's team. With no Johnny Cooper in the starting lineup, no Johnny Cooper on the bench either. He's an experienced player. He's the kind of guy you'd want around the squad. I'm sure he is around the squad, but he can't play his part today. Conor Early is in midfield. The Louth man has been playing well so far. Kieran Redden, another one who's bolstered their scoring ability, having come into Na Fianna this year. Obviously, Aaron Byrne is a good man to get a ball and turn. And Ono D at the back, well, he's very solid. He supports the attack. David O'Hanlon, we've seen it already this season. What a keeper he is for both club and county.
Yeah, David, great with his kickouts, has a kick-out strategy, goes very well. Ona D, a proper full-back, controls things and organises things around. And they're going to need him to do that. With Owen Merchant not there as well. Another big loss to that type of structure. Midfield, Conor Early, a proper midfielder. I'm happier to see Kieran Redden play out the pitch. He is a scoring threat inside, there's no doubt about it, but I thought he was a bit lost the first day that I seen him at full forward for Na Fianna, but he's gone to midfield. I think he's better facing the ball and going at players. Plus he gives you that extra defensive strength as well. And up front, Aaron Byrne is going to be hugely important for scores. The last day he kicked 3 points from play, but then David Lacey's given you goals as well. So yeah, there's always that scoring threat that Na Fianna have, and I would sooner them score 3-14 and lose than 7 points and play defensive and lose.
Well, as you say, Owen Merchant is out. That's a big loss for Na Fianna. This is their bench. Quite the amount of experience on that bench as well. Conor McHugh there, Gus Farrell there, David Quinn there. They've got game changers on that bench, don't they?
Yeah, Sean Caffrey and David Quinn. Sean play well inside. Good ball winner, low to the ground, will take guys on. Paddy Quinn and David Quinn as well. People have come on before. Tom Brennan, Jerry Gibbons come on a sub the last day. James Dordan, I haven't seen much of him this year, and again is a great talent. I'm just looking around the subs and I see jersey number 23, and I'm not too sure whether that is Conor McHugh, whether he's even tugged out or not. We get a closer look shortly. Let's
have a look at the St Vincent's starting lineup. Oisín Howley, the referee, has a word with both captains. For St Vincent's, the Cummins from Sligo have been a good addition this season, and he is still doing it. Tomás Quinn, capable of not only scoring but also picking that pass that can unlock a defence.
Yeah, when you look at that team, like it's a lot of new structure to it as well. Now, not to see a Vincent's team with Mick Savage in goal is unusual. You get great experience Concur in the full back line. You have Craig Wilson in the half back line. Again, experience Nathan Mullins and Gavin Burke at midfield would be a good midfield partnership in any team. And up front, you know, Mossy is the scoring threat always and sets it up for the people. He's never shy in passing off and getting someone to score. And a great driving force with Albert Martin, wing half forward, and Keane doing a good free taker.
Let's have a look at their bench, because that's pretty strong as well. You've got the likes of Brendan Egan and Bill Costello ready to come on if required.
Yeah, you know, experienced players on the bench can do an awful lot during the game. They can be talking about the game, the structure of the game, you know, keeping players level-headed and not getting too emotional on what's going on the pitch. And, you know, they can be discussing as the game goes along. So Brendan Egan will be hugely important on the bench. And then coming in, he brings a huge amount of experience.
How big a factor is the heat here today, Paul? 24 degrees according to one of my apps. I think it could be a little bit higher.
Yeah, I would say it's probably touching up a little bit more, and it's so unusual as well. You know, the fact that the teams were out on the pitch so early, and they were walking around beforehand as well. So like they've been out and about in the dressing room for 15 minutes, but 15 minutes beforehand I've seen players on the pitch, and now they've been out warming up for the last half an hour. So like that's sapping the energy as well. So we'll just see how the water breaks go, and also conscious that will there be much tactics talked at that 15-minute period when the water break is being used.
One thing I've noticed is that both teams are actually very quiet in the build-up. I wonder, is that nerves? Is that the heat? What is it?
Yeah, like both of them had a huge warm-up drill set up and structure to what they were doing, and you had their coaches blowing whistles and cheering guys on and pushing them on, but the players themselves were very quiet. You know, is that the, you know, self-taught that they're saving their energy and not getting too emotional about what's going on at the moment?
Well, just to remind you, the winner goes through to the quarter-final. The winner getting the glory here. If it's a draw, Fianna will go through, and the loser of this team will finish third in the group. St. Jude's taking on Whitehall Columkill in the other game, but that doesn't matter because Jude's have already won the group. Whitehall are guaranteed to finish in fourth position. So this is the only business really to be done in this group today. Of course, Whitehall Columkill do have another game. They'll be in the relegation playoff. Not somewhere anyone wants to be, particularly when you are not long back at the Senior 1 grade. But Vincents, who just bounced back, having been put down by Whitehall a couple of seasons ago, well, they're staying in the top tier. But for a club like Vincents, with their recent record, that isn't enough. They want to progress. They want to drive on. Fianna, they've been in the conversation for the go-ahead Dublin Senior Championship in the last couple of years. They want to stay in the conversation for this year's. Don't forget, later on, we've got Kilmacud Crokes in action. That one throwing in at 5:30. Crokes taking on Skerry's Harps, and anything could happen in that group, so we'll keep an eye on both games later on, but our concentration for the moment is on Group 4. And we need a football to get underway. We don't have one at the moment. We do, if it's behind the players. Kieran Redden and Conor Early in midfield, a powerful midfield for Fianna, up against Nathan Mullins and Gavin Burke. Ball in the air, away we go, and it is very well taken into the hands of Kieran Redden. He's fouled, it's a free into Fianna. Conor Early. Ali Fitzgerald has an option, and Early instead gives it to Donal Ryan. Donal Ryan trying to get away from Concur. Collected well by Vinnie Flynn. Adam Rafter. Glenn O'Reilly. Kieran Redden. Rafter. Fianna probing. Off the shoulder was Ali Fitzgerald. Goes to ground, free in.
See, Vincents have started with Josh Kelly at right half forward, number 18. I don't see Albert Martin out there at the moment.
Well, he took part in the warm-up along with many of the other starting players, so I'm not surprised to see him in from the start. Sometimes subs do take part in the full warm-up and then don't start, but he did. And he was practicing a lot of point kicking as well, which is interesting because he can get forward. Here is David Lacey looking for the first score for Fianna. And David Lacey has got the first score for Na Fianna. Smith goes short dish, that's well taken. Vincents with their first kind of spell of possession. McCusker got it inside. Here's Sean Lamb. Sean Lamb receives it back, leaves it behind, and getting it up is David Lacey. Free to Vincents. That's very loose, Fitzgerald. Vinnie Flynn gets it down the line, wants it back in the 1-2, doesn't get it. Plenty of options there. One of them is David Lacey. Will he have a crack? He will. Lacey looking for his second point and his team's second point, and he's got it. It's a very, very good start for Na Fianna.
And they've pressed up as well. We just talked about Josh Kelly playing at right half forward, and Glenn O'Reilly should be marking him, but Glenn O'Reilly's pushed right into the middle of the park to put a greater press with the Na Fianna kick out. Well, Vincent's kick out and Na Fianna pressing down.
Well, we know the Vincents won't panic, nor should they. Out it goes, McCusker. Cian Dunn up top along with Mossy Flynn. They've left two up there. Mossy Quinn, I should say. Vincent's trying to work it through, trying to hold them up. Is Vinnie Flynn. Free in for Vincent's.
Yeah, for the press that Na Fianna are putting on the kick out, it's still two short kick outs have come to Vincent's, and they've made a bit of progress up the pitch. So I'm not sure what the idea is with Na Fianna. If they're going to press up, you want to be closing down those short ones just as much.
Here's Cian Dunn. He was nailing them in the warm-up. It was a beautiful sounding kick, if that makes sense. He really struck through it. Vincents get their first score. David O'Hanlon, who is desperately, well, are you unlucky if you get to work with one of the legends? Probably not, but in a starting championship game sense, he was unlucky that Cluxton came back, but I'm sure he accepts why Cluxton would start, and as a goalkeeper, you can learn from him. Anyway, ball bouncing through, Hulip bounced through to Aaron Byrne. Byrne is an option, slipped it off, Redden. Redden kicks the first wide for Na Fianna.
He had a lot more time than he expected, and I would have thought now we would have kicked it fine. The score was well worked. Aaron Byrne's going to take someone on, but just shipped that hand pass to Kieran.
And they keep it in play, they can. That's Sean Lamb. McCusker. Switch, Andy, switch is the shout from out the field. Carrying the ball, it will wear you down on a day like today. Here's Gavin Burke. Gavin Burke going long towards Cian Dunn. Just came off the knee of Dunn and out for a line ball to Na Fianna. The idea was good. He was just a little bit unlucky with the bounce. Ali Fitzgerald.
There is a bit of a breeze there, and it is with Na Fianna, so I suppose they'd be expecting to have a couple of points of a lead anyway at half time.
Well, both teams lost to Jude's, conceding 2 goals to Jude's in Na Fianna's case, 4 in St. Vincent's case. Jude's very much setting the stall out. Cian Dunn, was he fouled there? Yes, he was, says the referee. The foul being made by Kieran Redden. That's a good burst out in front and a really good take. They could be in a goal here. It's a free in.
That was fantastic hands there. He got his body between 2 players.
Brilliant work by Sean Lowry.
Yeah, very strong on his part, and you know, he looked to step inside. There was no other option but to take him down.
Will someone have to take a card for it? That's the question. A ticking, certainly.
2 more yards and it's a penalty, and then he might have got a card for it then.
Cian Dunn. Just 1 player from each side has scored so far. Dunn about to get his second. 2 points apiece. Very early stages granted, but remember, a draw no good for Vincents. It's win or bust for them. O'Hanlon goes shortish. Here's Ono-D, who's very like Johnny Cooper in his movement and just how he looks. Adam Rafter. O'Reilly. O'Reilly moves it towards Conor Early. Just got away from Early, and it's retrieved by Nathan Mullins. Good take by Gavin Burke. Burke continues his run, doesn't get it back. Given back to Albert Martin. Martin gives to Burke. Mullins was waiting as an option, but Lamb is there as well. Lamb has support. Cummins is with him. Lamb loses it. That's a good tackle, I think, from Brian O'Leary, who got in there and then tried to tidy it up as Derek Kennedy. It was picked off the ground. It's a free in.
Yeah, good tackle. It was a bad solo. It went up in the air and it was knocked away cleanly. Just a little bit of over enthusiasm there. I shouldn't have picked the ball up and given away a silly free. I can't imagine he's going to go right for the kicker to try from this angle.
Quinn made a burst, but he was well covered. Instead it goes to Cummins. Will he have a go from there, the Sligo man? That's well taken. Josh Kelly back inside to Cummins, who cushions the ball over. That's a really well worked score.
Yeah, he was never going to go for it with right foot from that side. He goes across there. It was going to be short and was well worked. And then the Fianna switched off. It's their own fault. They gave away a silly free and then they gave away an easy score.
Well, the Fianna got the first 2, but Vincents have responded with 3 on the bounce, and now they lead by 1. Derek Kennedy. Donald Ryan. Give it back towards Dealey. That's a good take on the move by Rafter. Rafter gets a free in. Is that soft enough? Sean Lowry making the tackle. Well, he'll get a card as well, or a ticking maybe.
Strike down over the shoulder, a little bit high. He wasn't playing the ball, and he wasn't going to run after him if he got past him. So the best thing is to give away a free, but right in front of the referee.
Yellow card for Sean Lowry. And I've said it many times, I would not make a good referee. I was questioning whether or not it was a foul, let alone a card. David Lacey looking for his 3rd. Now it has the legs and it also has the accuracy. That's really good from David Lacey.
That was important because he told David O'Hanlon to go all the way back to his goal, that he was taking control of it, so he had to be sure that he was going to get the score. But yeah, very well taken free.
Andy Smith looking for Mullins and not finding him, intercepting Kieran Redden. Here's Vinnie Flynn. Flynn goes outside. Seamus Smith recycles the shot away. I think that's Vinnie Flynn. It's wide. It's a second wide for the Fianna. You wonder in those moments, is that where they'll miss the likes of Conor McHugh?
Yeah, it was so well won by Kieran Redden, and player going through on his own, you know, she took the free, and it turned out there was 3 hand passes and a kick wide. It's a bit overcomplicated there.
Flynn back to Early. Early got it back to Vinnie Flynn, who's busy, isn't he? Brian O'Leary. Good take by Aaron Byrne. Gets the pass away, continues his run, but the shot comes from Flynn. Flynn puts it over. Good score from Vinnie Flynn. He becomes the first non-David Lacey to score for the Fianna.
Yeah, well worked. I was wondering, was there 1 or 2 many hand passes, but great space for him and a great score off his left foot. The Fianna being very busy now with this kick out. They're now following the shorter runs, but it means everyone on the team has to do it.
Burke collects. Burke trying to maintain his composure despite the pressure from Conor Early, who was such a big part of Louth's decent enough summer, we'll call it. Here's Brian O'Leary. You wouldn't say it was decent if you were judging just on the Leinster final, but getting there and actually learning lessons from it, that was a good sign. Seamus Smith gets the ball away. Brian O'Leary. O'Leary looking for Byrne. He finds Byrne. Byrne's a bit isolated. Support is arriving. Byrne goes for it from a tight angle, and Byrne squeezes it over.
Yeah, it was a good pass, but it was a great run. He put the space on the outside. He came right across in front of the goal to the right corner forward position. I think maybe initially when he took it, he might be able to stand them up and go at him, but there was two Vincent players, one backed up the other, and the point was a better option.
That was a great point by Byrne, winning it back. Adam Rafter getting into Brian O'Leary. Strong hit on Ali Fitzgerald. Ref says it's fair. There's another one. And Fianna keep the ball in any case. Ali Fitzgerald is still down. Conor Early. Owen O'D. Fianna, finalists last year, desperate to get back there. Redden. He wasn't part of that group, obviously. Vinnie Flynn couldn't hang on to it. St. Vincent's on the counter-attack. Ali Fitzgerald is still down, by the way. We'll have a look at how that happened in just a second. Burke to Lamb.
It looks like it was a winding. He really knocked the stuffing out of him. He's just gathering his thoughts at the moment.
Albert Martin. Referee has spotted a foul off the ball. Let's have a look at that collision with Ali Fitzgerald. I don't think it was vicious. It was very strong, though.
Yeah, would you suggest that he came a little bit behind the shoulder, but he blindsided him. It was a good hit and dislodged the ball. Just looking at Nathan Mullins there, he's for the last 2 or 3 minutes now, then we went over an ankle in the middle of the park there, and he keeps on sort of gesturing to it, whether it's a little bit of a twist or not, so just keep an eye on him for the next couple of minutes.
Nathan Mullins, who has played county football with Donegal. Cian Dunn lands the score. An important one for St. Vincent's because it ends a 3-in-a-row run by the Fianna. Slight breeze, by the way. It's blowing down towards the Donnycarney Church end. O'Hanlon, good kick out. You can see that Cluxton-esque composure about him, can't you? Now, he was good even before he started working with Stephen Cluxton, but I can't imagine that making you any worse.
Yeah, working with Stephen Cluxton, but also Josh Morden, the goalkeeping coach, would have a huge part to play in and a huge encouraging part. It's well known all the goalkeepers really enjoy working with Josh. He's a brilliant brain.
Redden trying to escape the shackles of Sean Lamb. He couldn't do so. It's turned over. Now here's Cummins. Burke. That's true. We shouldn't forget the goalkeeping coaches. Burke. Albert Martin. Remember, we have a water break coming up today. It'll be interesting to see how that affects things. Craig Wilson. Josh Kelly. He was being chased by Glenn O'Reilly. He still is. Kelly runs out of space. That's good work by Glenn O'Reilly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Glenn play back there. Like, he's a great passing ability. He's great speed. He's a great asset coming forward as a wing back getting scores. Just to see his tackling was good there. Bit of a tuck on his ears. He got away with it though.
O'D gives to Flynn. Donal Ryan. Worked it short. Ali Fitzgerald, who's back up and running following that collision a few minutes ago. Glenn O'Reilly. Redden. Redden winds up, has a go. Will this turn in? I don't think it will. And that's the water break. Much needed on a day like today. 5-4, the Fianna lead. What have you made of it so far, Paul?
Yeah, I think both teams have got the most out of the game so far. You know, the shooting accuracy has been good. 1 or 2 wides there. Kieran, I thought, was a bit to try and shoot from there. Probably would have been better to try and work a score a little bit closer. And there has been bouts, and the Fianna started off well. Vincent got back into it easily, went into a bit of a lead, and the Fianna now have a bit of ownership on it too. So just curious, the Vincents are all huddled together, whole team, and the Fianna have grouped the forwards together, midfielders and the defenders separately. In the middle of the defenders is Johnny Cooper, so I said Johnny is just sharing his thoughts at this moment in time.
Well, just to update you on what's going on in O'Toole Park, St Jude's 4 points, Whitehall Colmcille 3 points. That's after 15 minutes. From the Whitehall point of view, how important is a good performance today? Something to give them a bit of confidence, a bit of momentum going into the relegation playoff.
Yeah, look, I know from Whitehall they were disappointed with their first day out against Vincents. They were well in the game early on and had a couple of scoring chances, goal chances, didn't take them, and they were disappointed with that. And then on the hop, Vincent's got a goal, and it really rallied them, thinking we should have been a few goals behind, and now we're leading the game. And Whitehall never really recovered from it. They're a young team, they're a big, strong team with a lot of dual players in it too. So it was tough for the club to play senior hurling championship and senior football championship this year. So performance is important.
And they'll be in the relegation battle in both.
Yeah, big demands there for the club, and it will be tough for them. But I know Anthony Holly very well, who's the senior manager there, and he'll have the boys right. And a good performance today will set them up for that.
Burke, pass inside, looking and finding Cian Dunn. Cian Dunn. He's strong, isn't he? Here's Josh Kelly. Cummins back to Kelly. Kelly. Can he get a shot away, Sean Lowry? He can. Can he get an equaliser? He can't. Not right now, anyway. Well, Whitehall Colmcille, as I say, in relegation trouble in both top tiers of senior football and senior hurling. Doesn't mean they're not a great club, though. To get there in the first place, that takes something special. These two do that as well, of course. That's a good take. Mark called. Lacey looking for Byrne, just miscued the ball inside. That's easily taken. Collected by Cloncar.
Yeah, great take. Loads of emotion. He was buzzed up by that take. There's two Vincent players around them, and then just lost the head a little bit and didn't execute the foot pass.
Sean Lamb moved it inside. Craig Wilson moved it on. Running onto it now, Shane O'Leary. Cloncar. Chased by Ali Fitzgerald. Here's Albert Martin. Nathan Mullins tries to slip through, and he's fouled. That's good play by Nathan Mullins. Well, Vincents came back up last season. They won senior football too. So to retain their status is a positive, but again, Vincents being Vincents, they will not think of it that way.
Yeah, look, there is, as I said at the start, a big transition there. There's a lot of young players who've come in, and then you have experienced players like Nathan Mullins and Gavin Burke. You know, and Gavin is still a young man, and he's achieved so much in his footballing career. You know, it's a pity he hasn't got a little bit further with senior football with Dublin.
Cian Dunn. Really fine score. 2 in a row from Cian Dunn, and we're all square. O'Hanlon. O'Reilly escapes the tackle. Flynn is there as an out ball. Goes to Flynn. Well, down at the moment is Glenn O'Reilly. He ran into the Vincents player. There was an odd moment. We'll try and get a look at that if we can. But Na Fianna are going hunting. Here's Aaron Byrne. And Aaron Byrne puts it over. His second point, both from play.
Yeah, Glenn threw a dummy and hand passed off, and a bit of obstruction. The referee had a hand up. He was playing the advantage, so I think he might just go back and take some action there. I'm not sure if it was actually Sean Lowry might have been involved in that.
Well, it happened after he kind of got rid of the ball. It didn't look on purpose from the brief glimpse of it we got, but collected by Craig Wilson. Burke. Back inside to Wilson. It's well taken, very well taken, Cummins. Mossy Quinn went out to meet it. Following him all the way, by the way, is Dara Kennedy. Lowry. Back inside. Can he keep his composure? No, couldn't keep the football either. Dealey. Smart turn by Dealey. Fitzgerald, O'D. Donal Ryan. Well taken out in front by Seamus Smith. Flynn. Lacey. O'D has all the time in the world to regather. O'D running right through the middle, then he lost it. And it comes back to him somehow. Here's O'Leary. O'Leary. Well, they lost the ball, but still ended up finding the point.
Some players would lose the ball and get it back that many times in a match. He's at the doing it in one passage of play.
Really fine score by Brian O'Leary, all coming from that run by Eoin O'D. They just produce that kind of player, don't they? Fianna, guys who can run straight through the heart of a defence. Shane O'Leary. Smith fouls him. Ref played the advantage for a couple of seconds. Clever refereeing.
I think it was clever play by him as well. He took him on and he played for free and got it.
Nathan Mullins. Moved on to Gavin Burke. Gavin Burke, who's got Sean Lamb running outside, turns back inside instead.
The Fianna with everybody back in their own half now at this stage.
Albert Martin tangled up but gets it back to Cummins. Cummins inside, continues his run, gets it back. Cummins slaloming through. That's brilliant from Cummins. Cummins, unlucky. He really adds something bursting forward, doesn't he, Darragh Cummins?
Very strong player, impressed with him so far.
Impressed with Sligo this season, Darragh Cummins. A Sligo team who are on the up, and a county generally who are on the up when you look at their underage success in recent years. O'Leary. Running onto it now, Glenn O'Reilly. O'Reilly might go for it from here. He will go for it from here. And he does get it. Great score by Glenn O'Reilly, but it opened up for him.
And at that side, that's why the Fianna want them there, is in the half back line and then just popping up from play and scored. And that was a great score, and that's typical Glenn O'Reilly.
Everyone's scoring in bursts in this game. Fianna opened up with 2, then Vincents got 3, then Fianna got 3, then Vincents 2, now Fianna 3 again. So Vincents are due here. Craig Wilson. Quinn has Kelly down the line, gives it to Kelly. Burke. Dunn going for it, just goes over his head. Well defended by O'D though. They seem to have an extra point that the scoreboard doesn't. That last kick by Glenn O'Reilly, did that go over?
It did.
Yeah. We'll clarify that because I have 8-5. The scoreboard is 7-5, as in the scoreboard here in the ground. And if it comes down to a point, these things are very important. Cian Dunn. Cian Dunn measuring. Cian Dunn. Scoring. Good score by Cian Dunn.
If you can keep Mossy Quinn off the freeze and he's your number 1 free taker, it must be good, and certainly his accuracy is very good today. I'm impressed with what he's doing so far.
That's his 4th from a free today, Cian Dunn. Has one from play as well. Early. Flynn in acres of space on that far side as we look. Gets inside. Flynn at pace, coming out to meet him, Aaron Byrne. Still Flynn. Flynn back under control. Inside is Seamus Smith. Flynn goes for it himself and doesn't get it. And just to confirm, it is 8 for Na Fianna, so we were right. 8-6. Cummins. Kelly. Outside it goes. Mullins was the target, but nipping in there was Donal Ryan. He's fouled. It's a free out. O'Reilly. Smith allows it to beat him. He's held off it there. Was he fouled? He thinks he was. Referee doesn't. Gave himself a bit of work to do there, but eventually got the pass away. Craig Wilson. Here's Concar. Wilson continued his run. Will he get there? Fitzgerald fouls him free in.
I think he would have won it if he went for the ball, but instead he started to try to play the man and then win the ball.
Is it one of those that if he kind of did both at the same time, he'd have been okay? Cian Dunn tries to pick a pass to Kelly. He has found Kelly. There's a lot of defenders between Kelly and the goal. Kelly couldn't hang on to it, but it's back now with Albert Martin, who gets it back to Kelly. Quinn. It was an awkward one to take on because he was absolutely surrounded. He had to find the space and get the shot away and just couldn't keep it on target.
I think Josh had the chance. Well, it was a great pass right over the top of the defender. If he'd have caught and gone at the post, it would have been a better option. He tried to step outside and got caught over a little bit.
Loads of time and space for Early again. Aaron Byrne. David Lacey, I beg your pardon. Lacey. Free out, over carrying. Sean Lowry. Lowry getting away from Rafter. Vinnie Flynn running beside him, trying to get near him. He couldn't. Quinn tries to pick out the pass to Dunn. Ono D just got, well, I was going to say a hand in. He got both hands in. Really good defending. Brian O'Leary taking off. O'Leary looking inside. Was he being fouled? Aaron Byrne, he was. It's a free in.
That's the same run Aaron has made on 4 or 5 occasions now. It's the second time he's got it. Starting in the left corner, sort of going across between the 14 and 21 yard line into that space, and the ball is curled into the space. And there's a little bit of coming together just beforehand, and an easy free now. And it probably needs this a little bit now. We've been very happy with 25 minutes of football and good scores. Then there's been a few drop short, a few errors in the last couple of minutes. And this, you know, Na Fianna will be happy with this. As I said, with a breeze, a little bit of a breeze that they have. If they go in with 3 or 4 points up, 3 if they get this. And they'll be very happy with their first half's work.
Over it goes, David Lacey. 4 points for him so far, 3 from frees. That was by far and away the easiest, if there's such a thing at this level. Smith. Carr. Oh, he leaves it behind, and nipping in is David Lacey, but he didn't get it. McCusker. Concar's there as an outball. McCusker has to be really careful here with the tackle as David Lacey. It's fearsome stuff. It's a Vincents ball.
I think that's in the Fianna ball.
It is, yep. He was pointing up the other way at first.
Yeah.
Will he go for it from here?
Should really think about working. They're the type of things that win championship finals, not this stage for competition. So.
Fitzgerald. Beautifully worked score.
Great score.
Fitzgerald's first of the game. Clever line ball, good finish.
Still had a bit to do when it came into him, but took it very, very well.
I think Vincents would be disappointed because he had so many players around him. O'Reilly. Flynn. Running onto it, Connor early. O'Reilly. O'Reilly trying to get around Lamb. O'Reilly measures and shoots. And doesn't score. Smith. O'Leary. Back by McCusker to Smith. Good goalkeeping, cool goalkeeping. And can they work it out? Concar. Kelly. Lamb. Lamb aiming towards the corner. Quinn getting out to it. Unfortunately for him, can't keep it in play. O'Hanlon. They're queuing up for it. Fitzgerald. Kennedy is with them. Instead he goes back to OD. Donal Ryan. He's saying he bounced it twice. Either way, it's a free to St. Vincent's. Lamb. Lamb went outside. That's Quinn. Dropping deeper to get on more ball. Here's Cummins. Cummins having a run here. Lamb's inside. Cummins might take it on himself. He does. And he gets his second score.
That's a great score. Yeah, didn't panic under pressure. More players kept on coming at him, got around them. He's a lot of upper body strength and push people off. Vincent is very happy with that score.
Yeah, first score since the 26th minute for St. Vincent's. Flynn. OD. Shovels it out to Early. Early being followed by Burke, who won't give up on him. Early fumbles. Gets it back. Loses it. And uses ingenuity to get it to Brian O'Leary. Brian O'Leary up against Cummins. O'Leary, he's jinxy, isn't he? O'Leary, he'll take it on. And he will get it. What a score that is from Brian O'Leary. He's second from play.
Gav Borkert worked so well and closing them down. His other teammates weren't there to back him up and stop that score. The Fianna like that. The Vincents been really disappointed that he didn't keep it to 3 points at half time.
So as it stands, the Fianna are going through to the quarter-final. They will join group winners St. Jude's. Vincents will retain their senior status but will finish third in the group and won't progress. And Whitehall Colmkill, when we knew beforehand, they are going to the relegation playoffs and will finish bottom of the group. What have you made of it so far, Paul?
Yeah, great bursts from both teams. You know, they've been more going at the game and going for the game than sitting back and trying to defend the game. Blocks of scores for both teams. A lot of energy. Very impressed with the two Cummins lads for Vincents, particularly Derek Cummins at centre half back. He's driving forward really, really well. Gavin Burke was playing well from midfield. Mossy Quinn has been kept fairly quiet, originally by Derek Kennedy, then Adam Rafter went on for a while. Midfield, Kieran Redden had gone well for the Fianna and was giving them sort of a bit of an upper hand at midfield, but then it sort of turned around a bit. Yeah, I think the Fianna are probably worthy of their few points of a lead, but the game certainly isn't over yet. I think Vincents have a great chance.
4 between them. Fianna lead 11-7. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the first half. And it was David Lacey who got the scoring underway for Fianna and indeed for the match itself with this. And then he got one from play as well. And it was a good one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice step onto the right foot and a good angle and a good strike.
Cian Dunn got the first for St. Vincent's after 4 minutes. He followed it 3 minutes later with his second, and let's have a look at that. An easy effort. Dara Cummins, you mentioned him, Paul, you're really impressed with him. This is why. And that wasn't even his best of the game so far. We'll get to that in a second. That was a good score. David Lacey on the mark again for Na Fianna after 10 minutes with this one to make it 3 apiece.
Notice also both goalkeepers are playing very well as in their kick-out strategies, and most of them are going short, and they're finding their men, so that's good for both goalkeepers.
Vinny Flynn got that one, and it was followed by Aaron Byrne. This is an amazing score, and Cloncar didn't do too much wrong here. Cummins came out to try and close the angle down, but Byrne, we've seen it in the past for club and county, he's very good at squeezing points over. That was a big hit there on Ali Fitzgerald. No card or anything given for that as far as I can remember. And that was Cian Dunn guiding it over. Vincents have got some nice scores, just not quite enough. Dunn impressive from frees and impressive from play as well. Good ball in from Redden. Good take, good turn. And a really good score sent over by Aaron Byrne on the run after 20 minutes. That made it 6-5. The first of 3 in a row for Na Fianna. Brian O'Leary popping that one over. And then Glenn O'Reilly stepped up. Lots of space to run into. Took it into a central position and guided it over with that trusty right boot. Cian Dunn stopped the rot then to make it a 2-point game again with this free. But then Na Fianna got 2 in a row. This David Lacey free. And then this incredibly well-worked score from Fitzgerald. And as you said at the time, Paul, Sid had an awful lot of work to do when he got that one. Dara Cummins then, what a point this is.
Yeah, shoved off one man, pushed away the next third, and took the score. Yeah, really impressed with him and his brother as well. They're alike in certain ways, but then they're a different type of build, and they're a huge asset to Vincents. If you're asking me if they're going to stick around for a couple of years, it'll be a big help to Vincents and their rebuild.
Brian O'Leary got the last score of the half. It made it a 4-point game at the break. Na Fianna 11 points, St. Vincent's 7 points. As it stands, Na Fianna are going through to the quarterfinals. St. Vincent's are going out. In O'Toole Park, in this group, it's St. Jude's 7 points, Whitehall Colmkill 6 points. Jude's looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce in the group and to go into the quarterfinals with a 100% record. Don't forget, coming up later on, it's Kilmacud Crokes against Skerries Harps. That group is kind of up in the air. Anything could happen. Castleknock in action against St. Sylvester's in the other game in that group. And I'll tell you how crazy that group is Crokes, who've won 2 games and who, keep in mind, are the county, provincial and All-Ireland champions, might actually get knocked out. It would be a freak of an occurrence, but it is possible. It just tells you how crazy that game is. Don't forget, you can join the conversation. Don't forget to hashtag #GoAheadDSC. 11-7 Na Fianna lead. We'll be back with the second half live on Dubs TV. Join us then. Welcome back to Parnell Park in the baking heat. It is the go-ahead Dublin Senior 1 Football Championship encounter of Na Fianna and St. Vincent's. This is a group game. It's a round-robin game, but it might as well be a knockout encounter because whoever wins goes through to the next round. 11-7 is the score. Despite what's at stake and despite the fact that this is what you would call proper championship, it's an eliminator, Paul, it has been a little bit subdued. Is that down to the heat? Is that down to what's at stake? What do you think it's down to?
Well, you did know at the start of the game or beforehand in the warm-up, it seemed a little bit quiet. So maybe people are nervous of going at it hard and emptying the tank and not being able to finish out in the game. And it is a little bit quiet that we normally see. We've only had one or two, big hits in the game. Referee hasn't spoken to anybody for dangerous tackles or any schmozzles, as they say. So yeah, it's been a little bit tame so far, but if Na Fianna go at it hard now early on, Vincents are going to have to open up and maybe that'll help the game a bit. Or even still, if Vincents with a little bit of help from a breeze or to get a couple of scores, same again, Na Fianna have to do that themselves. They're going to have to go for it.
St. Vincent's need to get more scorers into the game as well. So far, just 2 players have scored for them. Cian Dunn has scored, I think, 4 from frees and 1 from play. Dara Cummins has got 2 from play. Brian O'Leary, 2 from play for Na Fianna. Glenn O'Reilly and Vinnie Flynn, both 1 each. Aaron Byrne with a point. Ali Fitzgerald also with a point. Aaron has actually scored 2. David Lacey has scored 3 from frees and 1 from play. The winner goes to the quarter-final. The loser retains their senior status, but doesn't progress any further. There's an awful lot at stake in the next half an hour or so. A draw, by the way, puts Na Fianna through. A little bit of off-the-ball stuff there involving Conor Early. Referee gives the free in to St. Vincent's. Can they get a good start to the second half? Ball aimed down the line. Dunn is out in front. Dunn takes it somehow. Dunn measures but doesn't shoot. Here's Sean Lowry. Lowry leaves it behind. He is able to regather. Mullins was running off him, but he couldn't find him, and Vincents couldn't take advantage of the good position they found themselves in. Here's Vinnie Flynn, bottled up, but got out of the tackle. Did very well. Remember, Conor McHugh not in the starting lineup for Na Fianna. I don't think he'll be involved today. He is named at 23, but wasn't doing too much in the warm-up. Here's Seamus Smith. Owen Merchant obviously not involved either. Despite that, Na Fianna are playing well so far, but that's a jinx. Conor Early kicks it wide. 7-6, by the way, the score as they go into the second half between St. Jude's and Whitehall Colmkill. That's the other game in the group today. But look, I'll say it again just in case you weren't with us. That match has no bearing on this one. There are groups where the 2 games have a lot of bearing on each other, but this is not one of them. We will clarify that anon. Coming up later on, by the way, Skerry's Harps against Kilmacud Crokes. That's at 5:30. Tomorrow we've got Lucan against Raheny at 2. The 4 o'clock game is going to be live on TG Car. Ono D.
Ono D is holding his right shoulder himself, and Dawn had it coming together a few moments ago, and his right shoulder seems to be holding a little bit lame on his collarbone.
Let's hope he's okay. No Johnny Cooper in the squad for Na Fianna either today, so if they can get a win with all of the players we mentioned missing, that's not bad, is it? Tomas Quinn trying to get into the game, dropping deep. He'll try and get on possession and pick passes, but it's Na Fianna who turned it over. A booming ball down towards Seamus Smith. Smith gets it under control. Running inside is Brian O'Leary. O'Leary. Wide. 2 wides at the start of the second half for Na Fianna. O'Leary, who scored 2 good ones in the first half.
Yeah, Na Fianna looking for the hot start, and they haven't got it now.
Wilson. Cummins. Cummins up against Smith. Dara Cummins, county manager Tony McEntee, knows all about good runs with the club, doesn't he? Coming from Crossmaglen Rangers. Josh Kelly gives to Mullins. Mullins had Lamb with him, but held on to it. Referee was playing advantage there. It's a free in to St. Vincent's. Sean Larry made a burst there, but he wasn't spotted. Adam Rafter got over to cover him anyway. I think Cian Dunn will go for it from here.
Yeah, you meant to say go for the back pass.
Yeah, you go for the pass is what I meant to say. Yeah. Literally kicked it the other direction.
And I was really looking forward to taking her on because I've seen his striking abilities from range. And I thought that was well within his range.
Cummins, he loves to take people on. He loves shots as well, but not ones like that. And the Fianna are making a change. You're right, Onoti has hurt himself. He has gone off. That's a big, big loss. He has been replaced by Gus Farrell. Again, another experienced guy, a really top quality senior club footballer. He's one of those guys that you would not begrudge a county medal.
And they need him to try to keep that shape and structure now to what the Fianna are well known for, you know. And losing OD, you're losing a little bit of a drive in the force as well, because he helped to get a great score in the first half. I don't think Gus will be doing that. He might sit tight a little bit more.
Redden goes outside too early. Both midfielders can score, Redden and Early. Neither of them have done so yet, and I stress yet. Here's Redden, Early. That's a good take and run into space by Redden. Fitzgerald didn't catch it right, and the bounce is coming for the goalkeeper. McCusker. Burke. Lamb. Moved off. Gavin Burke. That's McCusker running from deep. Quinn. That's a good ball by Quinn, a great ball. Here's Dunn. Dunn and Kelly with him, but he kind of went back into space and gave himself a bit of time and a bit of space to get a shot away. It was a wise choice, it was good play, and Dunn gets the first score of the second half.
Yeah, Mossy threaded it through a knife of a needle there between two of the Fianna players, one going one direction, one the other. A great pass and a fine score.
Well, that's what he offers. For many years, Connolly provided that service to him, and sometimes vice versa, but that was brilliant from Mossy Quinn.
Mossy would have done it with Sean Lowry for the last year or two, so Dunn has given another little string to his bow.
Of course, Connolly still playing, but for the senior hurlers, who are looking good at the moment. Early. Running onto it, Rafter. Flynn. Flynn spinning away from Lamb. Ryan. Rafter. O'Reilly. O'Reilly. Probing. O'Leary. Fianna happy enough to just hang on to it. Now they'll inject a bit of pace and a run through from Rafter. Can he find a way through? Donal Ryan, he's fouled, it's free in. That was patient football by Fianna. And now it's brought in even further because Lamb had a bit of a coming together with Donal Ryan. Now they might argue, well, Seamus Smith made a burst, but then he was covered. The ref wasn't going to allow it anyway. And the referee's having a word now with Gavin Burke. So maybe it was Burke with that infraction that brought it forward rather than Lamb. He's having a word with Lamb as well, a very quick one. And Fianna looking good for their first score of the second half. That will come from David Lacey, who also got their first score of the first.
Fianna looking to introduce two players as well now at this moment in time after. Actually going to do it before the free.
So Seamus Smith is one of the players to make way. One of the players to come in is David Quinn. He's always going to get some game time going off. Also is Killian Deely. Sean Caffrey, yeah, no surprise there. You get the ball to him, he'll do damage. A crafty forward, Sean Caffrey.
A bit of a change in the structure there because they're two big guys gone off and they're two small, speedy players coming on, so maybe the Fianna looking to go at this now with pace.
That gap back to 4. Smith. Finds his man. Mark called by Gavin Burke. Sean Lowry comes deep. Lowry racing down that touchline. Lowry still going, chased by Donal Ryan. Good ball inside to wing forward Albert Martin. Lowry. Good score by Lowry. Kind of dropped into the pocket and picked his point.
Fantastic score, yeah. Ran about 40, 50 yards there. Kept possession of the ball. To finish off for a score was really, really good.
And that gap back down to 3 as St. Vincent's make a change.
Mullins going off.
Is that O'Roe who's come in? Was named to start, didn't.
He's gone inside. It looks like Josh Kelly has come a little bit further out the pitch now.
O'Hanlon booms it long. Redden slips through his hands, trying to collect it now is Concar. Burke. Looking to pick the pass to Dunn. Dunn. Can he get a shot away? Dunn trying to shake off David Quinn. Advantage coming, free and given. That's a big win for Dunn against David Quinn. Or Gus Farrell, I do beg your pardon.
It's Gus, and that's the second score. Mossy got the last pass into Gus, into him, and Gus was left. So I wonder how long now will he leave him on him. But Derek Kennedy has been in the game, is doing well, and Mossy maybe a thought is to switch him across onto Keane Dunn for a while. Vincents are by no means out of this game. They put a press on the kick out, win a ball. Next one it could be a 1-point game.
Keane Dunn, second of the second half. He's first from a free in the second half. And it's a 2-point ball game. And the Fianna have had to make a few changes, and we've mentioned it a couple of times who they started without. Vinny Flynn is making a burst out to the right-hand side as he looks down the park, but instead it was slipped to Donal Ryan. The Fianna will try and work it through. It's a long, high ball. Can Byrne get on the end of it? He fists it on, but 2 Vincent's players were waiting. McCusker got it in hand. Here's Cummins. Burke. Moved out to Dara Cummins. Josh Kelly. Sean Lamb. Back to Lamb. Lamb goes outside. That's O'Roe, I think. Kelly. Kelly. Is he being fouled? He is. Advantage being played. Free now given. Vincents are beginning to crank it up a bit, aren't they?
And vocally you can hear it in the pitch as well. It's getting a little bit louder, and it's all the Vincents guys are talking and shouting and encouraging. It's the opposite for the Fianna, a little bit quiet. And just something that what we notice now is that McCusker, who had been named as a half forward for Vincents, has gone back. He's an out and out one-on-one on Aaron Byrne. He's a one-to-one man-to-man marker on him at the moment.
Interesting that he didn't take that shot on. Here's Gavin Burke. Josh Kelly. Kelly gives to Martin. Martin out to Concar, back to Martin. Here's Martin. Oh, that turns back in beautifully. That's a wonderful score by Albert Martin.
Josh Kelly's gone to midfield and he's contributing because he's bursting onto the ball. And Vincents are on top here. The Fianna really need to get it, sort of settle things a little bit and get the ball into their forwards.
3 points in a row for St. Vincent's, makes it a 1-point game. And the possession is won back by Martin. Here's Cummins. Mossy Quinn running onto this one. He can score from this kind of angle, but he won't try to. He sets it up for Lamb. Lamb! It's a goal for St. Vincent's! A really fine set-up pass by Mossy Quinn, and an even better finish by Sean Lamb.
Who said Mossy Quinn doesn't have a left foot? What a pass. What a pass. It's fantastic. It's a super, super finish.
Well, they were 4 points down at the break, St. Vincent's. They're now up by 2. Gus Farrell has to be careful. He is. No Johnny Cooper, no Conor McHugh, no Owen Merchant. Owen O'D had to go off injured. Na Fianna are being tested here. Their squad depth, their character, their ability to respond. Here's Conor early. Early winds up, early. And that is a good response by Conor early.
Yeah, you need your big players now. You need your Kieran Reddens, your Conor Earlys to come into this game. Glenn O'Reilly, experienced player, need him, and you need Aaron Bourne to try and lead the line and get on the ball and take them on. I think they need to pick up the next couple of scores. I was going to go away from them.
Well, Vincent scored 1-3 without response before that early point. Let's have a look at that goal, actually, because it was a really fine finish by Lamb. But a great pass by Mossy Quinn. McCusker, we'll have a look at that goal in the next stoppage. Here's McCusker. He's got Cummins with him, juggles it a bit, gets it towards Cummins, but then getting in to win it back with Sean Caffrey, but Vincents have turned it back over. Martin. O'Rourke. Concar. Burke. Burke is going for it. Good block down. Might still work out. No Vincent's player in there to battle for it. Good block down by Flynn. Na Fianna, who scored only 2 points in the second half. By the way, receiving some treatment at the moment is Dara Cummins. So Vincent's down to 14 as we speak. Can Na Fianna take advantage? Here's Ali Fitzgerald. Sean Caffrey. Early. Brian O'Leary. Brian O'Leary. Brian O'Leary still going. Gets it inside Caffrey. Is Caffrey fouled? Referee says no, it was a shoulder. David Lacey. They go for it. Can David Quinn get it? He has. 2 points in a row for Na Fianna. That's a good response to that Vincent's goal.
And well done, referee. It was a great hit. It wasn't a free. Recycled the ball well. And off his left foot, a little bit unbalanced, but got the score is important. And you know it's important now, and it's even doubly important now because you're having your water break, and Na Fianna can just sort of say to themselves, look lads, we've got the last 2 scores, we're in this game, and it's all to play for now.
Remind me of this at the end, when it's a 1 point game and we're in injury time. The clock has stopped in the stadium and indeed on our screen for the water break. Right, if we can, let's have a look at that goal because it was a wonderful finish by Sean Lamb, set up brilliantly by Mossy Quinn. Paul, take it from here.
Yeah, when the initial run was made, I thought he was playing the ball a little bit too wide to Mossy, and I thought he was going to step in on his right foot and kick a point, but it's a super pass off the left. He knew what he was doing from the time he got it.
It's worth another look, isn't it?
Like it was bullet.
Just the nonchalant way he passed it, and despite the fact that Lamb was completely covered, but still got the shot away.
Yeah, very well worked score. It's sort of lifting, Vincent's spirits now, and we're at the playing 45 minutes. It's 40 and all, and it's still all to play for. It's exciting. 15 minutes ahead. He's played a bit of injury time.
So the clock will restart, and we're all square. Commentators cursing all that, but I imagine we will have some more scores before the end. But if we don't, this will do for Na Fianna. They'll go through with the draw.
See Niall McGovern has come on for Na Fianna there as well.
Josh Kelly. Lamb. Martin. He's really come into it in the second half, Martin, hasn't he? He's been on the ball an awful lot more. He was working very hard in the first half.
In the first half, he played at left half forward and he hardly moved 20 yards around that area. Now he's got around the pitch a little bit more, and that's important for him, and it's important for Vincent that he does that.
That's experience. He didn't want to burn up all his energy in the first half. Here's Gavin Burke. Moved out wide. That'd be some score. If it went over from there, it might actually drop. Quinn attacks it. Very well defended by Darragh Kennedy. And it falls kindly for Ali Fitzgerald. Kennedy had to be sure of catching that, didn't he? Vinnie Flynn. Fianna try and work it out. They've got the free coming. Sean Caffrey. Gavin Burke trying to close him down. Caffrey low inside. Can he get a shot away? Here's O'Leary, yet to score in the second half. And that wait continues, and he had a runner out wide who was completely free.
It always seems when he's going to pull the trigger, he wants to kick the skin off the ball. You know, like that again is an opportunity just to clip it over the bar. He really forces it, tries to kick it high and hard.
And he had David Quinn running on the outside as well, and Quinn was really frustrated.
It's a great skill where you're on board, that low hand pass that they use to pass it underneath the defender's hand.
Perfect delivery to O'Leary. Darragh Cummins. Gavin Burke. Burke for Quinn. Quinn takes it. O'Roe. Burke. Well, tried to get it to O'Roe, but it was fumbled. Here's Quinn. Quinn bravely down on it. And the line ball goes to Fianna. Vincents aren't happy though. Now it goes to Fianna. He just pointed the wrong way. Or sorry, now it goes to Vincents. He had pointed the wrong way. Cian Dunn tries to burst out towards it, but he's tugged back there. Rowe. Josh Kelly. Darragh Cummins. Lamb is outside. Cummins goes backwards to O'Roe, who has lost it. There's a real scramble here, and it's secured by Fianna. Here's Flynn. 45 minutes gone, by the way, in O'Toole Park. It's St. Jude's 1-11. Whitehall Columkill 7 points. That was a bit of an aimless one there. Vincents have it back. O'Leary runs onto it. Early was waiting for him, so he just went back to Burke. Vincent's keeping their cool. Lots of time. Sean Lamb. Josh Kelly. Burke is wide open on this near side. Darragh Cummins. Go Darragh is the shout from Gavin Burke to Darragh Cummins. Back to Gavin Burke. Back to Darragh Cummins. Cummins! Delicious football. Cummins third.
Yeah, a lot of calls and encouragement outright for him to get forward, knowing that probably the end result is going to be the same every time. He's a big asset there, and fine footballer, gets up and down the pitch really well. Very strong looking.
That's his third from play. He's first of the second half, and Vincent's lead by 1. Remember, they have to win to go through. Concar is going off for Vincents. Didn't see who came on there. We'll tell you in a second. When they get on the ball, then you'll know. Good catch, Ali Fitzgerald.
Yeah, comes Darragh Parker. Come on as a sub there. Contested that.
Redden tries to get it under control and does. Josh Kelly giving him plenty. Redden yet to score in this game. Goes to ground, recycles. David Lacey. Lacey squeezes the pass away to Sean Caffrey. Caffrey against Cummins. Caffrey. Good delivery. Good save. Aaron Byrne went for it. It was probably too close to the goalkeeper, but Smith still got down well. I know it's very easy to say this, but should he have just taken his point? Kelly finds Lamb, good ball. Should he have taken the point?
No, Aaron Byrne, he had his eye for goal. He took a nice step and he actually placed it. And I thought it was I give great credit to the keeper. It was a great save.
Mossy Quinn shovels it off. The score is on. Oh, it's off the woodwork. And he's hurt himself in the process as well. Well, that could be a double blow for St. Vincent's. Sean Lowry is limping. desperately unlucky not to get the score there. And I think he pulled or tweaked something in his leg.
I don't know whether in the run through just before that there was a bit of contact and the adrenaline was up and he continued to run. It was only after he took the shot that he felt the impact of it.
David Quinn gets his pass away. Nafina still hanging on to it. Gus Farrell. Still Farrell. Here's the shout from inside. It's Conor Early going for his second of the second half. And Conor Early puts it over.
The second really good score from him. And his move to Nafine has brought on his game no end. And for Mickey Hart is liking the way he's playing and be good for Louth next season.
Sean Lowry is still receiving treatment, by the way. That's a foul, free for St. Vincent's. Cian Dunn, there's a bit of space for him to run into. Cian Dunn into a kinder angle. Two Nafina men inside. Dunn takes his point. Nafina, St. Vincent's back in front.
I thought a goal was on there. You know, definitely two players on his inside.
And one of them was Lowry, who wasn't moving well. Yeah. Vinny Flynn. 7 minutes plus injury time to go. Redden. O'Leary. O'Leary. Poked through by David Quinn. Going after it, Aaron Byrne. Byrne has it, but he's got a defender all over him. Byrne turning, twisting, going to ground. Free out, and Byrne, I think, has tweaked something perhaps.
Looked like he twisted something. It's great defending. Like maybe just an ankle went underneath him when he tried to turn him. Husker's a tight player and marking him really, really well. Vincents are making a call there. They're seeing how Sean Lowry is still limping. Yeah, they have one of their coaches going up along the sideline. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to continue. And if he's like that, push him right in the edge of the square. If you're not going to make a change, but it looks like he's actually gone off the pitch.
Smith. O'Leary. McCusker. Cummins. Adrian rather than Dara. Here's Dara. Kelly. Dara Cummins. Has Gavin Burke with him. Comes back to Dara Cummins. Nafina though turn it over. Lacey. Driving on, Niall McGovern. Here's Brian O'Leary, held up by Lamb and fouled by Lamb. And it's brought in because of that little push.
And Gavin needs to be careful because he is on a yellow card. That's another little infraction there of the referee bringing it forward. So, you know, you've got to be careful what he's doing. His experience is needed here, and Vincents don't need to go down to 14 men.
It's incredibly tight. Paddy Quinn, speaking of experience, coming in for Nafina.
Aaron Bourne's going to take this now. David Lacey going off.
Byrne gets the score, gets the equaliser. As it stands, Nafina are going through, but there's a lot of work to go, or a lot of work to do. Gavin Burke is making a burst for it. But Smith just goes longish. Here's Kelly. Couldn't get there. Quinn tries to soak it up. Quinn. Big hit going in from Gus Farrell. And it's a Nafina ball. Or Vincent's ball, I beg your pardon.
I've been impressed with Josh Kelly since he got around the midfield there. He's not afraid to get involved and put his body about.
That was risky enough, and Aaron Byrne has taken the possession. Byrne pops it inside, running onto O'Leary. O'Leary has found Ali Fitzgerald, and Redden! Oh! Well, they were queuing up for it. How they didn't get something out of that attack, I'm not sure. Vincents took a risk. They got away with it. They got lucky.
They got lucky. What the keeper was looking for from the sideline ball or free was just baffling. You know, shouldn't be involved in that at all.
We'll get a look at that moment of craziness in a second, but we'll keep with play for right now. Here's Paddy Quinn. And a goal there would have pretty much guaranteed it for Nafina. Here's Sean Caffrey. It's opening up for Caffrey. He might take it on. Slips. And the free out is awarded. Now Caffrey's gone down. He's being helped up by Gavin Burke. Well, this is the near miss for Nafina. Running onto it was O'Leary. Here's Ali Fitzgerald. Gave it to Redden, and Redden unlucky. We resume with a free out to Nafina, to St. Vincent's. That's a high tackle. Now he'll claim that Lamb was kind of falling down.
He'll claim that Lamb grabbed his arm.
Would his claim be correct?
Yeah, but it was high.
Well, it's a frantic finish. And Lamb and Byrne have a little joke together. Two very seriously competitive guys. Here's Craig Wilson, bottled up, loses possession. Nafina ball. Remember, Nafina don't have to score, they just have to stop St. Vincent's from doing so.
There's 2 or 3 frees now Vincent have had in their own area and haven't been able to work the ball out. They've actually turned it over.
David Quinn. He found Gus Farrell. He measures, he shoots, he scores. It's Aaron Byrne. Is that the point that seals it? It may well be. Still lots of time to go though. Vincent's working it up the park. He just about got there. Brave play from Dara Parker. Quinn. Wasn't the greatest of passes, but he retrieved the ball anyway. Quinn. Found Dara Cummins. Cummins to Gavin Burke. Burke for the equaliser. Burke gets it. Vincent's hanging on in there. Well, what do you do if you're Nafina here? Do you try and just hang on to the football? That's risky though.
No, you want to get up the pitch and further away from your own goal and try and get that winning score.
Gus Farrell. Farrell patiently moving with it. Here's Ali Fitzgerald. Dara Kennedy. Paddy Quinn. Adam Rafter. Paddy Quinn. A minute and 15 of injury time gone. They don't put up a board here in Parnell Park, so we don't know how much injury time there is. Vincents need to get that ball back. They need to score. O'Hanlon. Quinn. Oh, that's a little bit loose. Vincents do have it back. That's a foul. It's a free. David Quinn was sold short. He tried to get there and then probably felt he had no other option but to bring down Albert Martin.
I think this is in his range. Previously he'd passed the back. I think he's going for a score now.
Well, this to put Vincents in front and potentially into the quarterfinals. It is Cian Dunn who's been excellent so far. Well, we did say that it was risky to just pass the ball around and move it around. It's a huge kick. Cian Dunn, can he put Vincents ahead? Cian Dunn, he responds to the pressure. He gets the score and Vincents lead by 1. Now do Na Fianna have time to get the ball down the park and get an equaliser? Fitzgerald wants it back, doesn't get it back. That's a foul. Is it a clever one from the Vincents point of view? It's Martin who's been centrally involved in so much. His second yellow, he's off. Vincents down to 14. Vinnie Flynn, we don't know how much time there is to play. Paddy Quinn, Niall McGovern. Ali Fitzgerald wants it and gets it. Well taken by Conor Early. Gives it back towards Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald goes to ground. Back to Early. Early for the equaliser. Early for the quarterfinals. Early gets it. What a score from Conor Early. The man who's from the wee county, but he's just come up with a massive, great big point for Na Fianna. Is it the one that puts them through? Mossy Quinn. Parker. Burke, they've got a free man in behind. How Na Fianna allowed that to happen? Burke continues his run, he wants it back. The shot's coming from cornerback Shane O'Leary. Shane O'Leary delivers. Is that the winner? It's moved short. That is it. St. Vincent's are through to the quarterfinals. They have broken Na Fianna's hearts. Shane O'Leary, the cornerback, wandered up, somehow got free, somehow got the ball, somehow got the score, and St. Vincent's, the old dogs for the hard road, have done it. It's desperately disappointing for Na Fianna, who had chances, who got that equaliser, and you thought, well, that's probably enough done. But St. Vincent's never give up. They got relegated, they bounced back straight away. They got knocked down in this game a few times. They kept getting back up. And in the end, it is them who go through to the last 8 of the go-ahead Dublin Senior Football Championship. Now, I've outlined the fact of what's happened. Paul, how has that happened?
I'm going to take a breath. That was pretty much end-to-end stuff in that injury time. It was phenomenal stuff, score for score, and really, really great quality scores. And a score like that deserves to win the game. All credit to Vincents. They battled through. I think maybe from the start of the game they showed what they were about, even though they went those few points behind, but they came back into it very quickly, and it was toe-to-toe stuff. Do you say that they deserved it, and then do you say also that Na Fianna maybe, you know, at their own downfall, missing a couple of chances, particularly Kieran Redden's goal opportunity, but it was very exciting there at the end, and my belief and love that football is still alive in Dublin is still there.
St. Vincent's were beaten badly by St. Jude's. They conceded 4 goals in that game. They got the win against Whitehall Colmkill, and some people were saying, you know what, they're back up, they're transitioning, so actually to stay in Senior 1 was an achievement in itself. But, and we've said this a few times today, that's never good enough for St. Vincent's. They showed a drive and determination and a craft today, didn't they?
Yeah, like, you know, they have a lot of experience from fellas that are young lads and been around a while. And, you know, like say Gavin Burke, you know, who was ruthless wherever he was and getting involved with all sorts of things, was a driving force there at the end. Mossy Quinn's pass for the goal was just sublime. I thought the kick-out strategy and the kick-out accuracy of Vincent's was very, very good. And, you know, it was no pressure on them to sort of not work the ball out. And then, you know, around the middle of the park, when I seen young Kelly going to midfield from a wing half forward position, I thought, you know, that he's maybe out of his depth. He looked a little bit smaller, but he's very athletic and he's brave, and he got himself amongst the play. He actually was better when he went around the middle third. So great credit to Vincents, and you know, the Fianna will be disappointed. That's not where they wanted to be on a Saturday evening. They were hoping to be looking forward to a championship quarter final, and you know, now they don't have that.
The Fianna, last year's beaten finalists, are out. We did mention it. McHugh wasn't able to start. Cooper wasn't in the squad. Merchant wasn't able to start. Wasn't in the squad. Yeah, OD went off.
Yeah.
Like, there's no team in the country could withstand blows like that and still be as good.
Yeah, and you know, they still had a chance there. Whereas if you look at you know, Vincents were taking yellow cards and they were trying to take black cards to stop the Fianna getting up the pitch. They still did and got the equalising score. I think the Fianna should have been a little bit cuter when that last kick out came along. Would they been a bit cuter and take a black card for your team? I don't encourage it and I don't approve of it, but you know, to stop the ball getting up the pitch, it was just too easy. And it was a brave score to take on. Like that wasn't, you know, a nothing shot. That was it was all or nothing, in fact. And fair play to him.
Well, let's have a look at some of the highlights of this game from the St. Vincent's point of view, certainly. Anyway, their highlights. Let's just see that last point, because that's the key moment. So many moments leading up to that. We'll have a look at the other moments in the second half as well. But what about this from Shane O'Leary? Now, how he got the time and space he got, I don't know. Great run by Gavin Burke.
To the whole lot.
Yeah. And that was really just an amazing point from O'Leary. Let's have a look at it again. See there, he was left completely unmarked. Dara Kennedy, who'd done a fine job up until that point, played well generally, and you wouldn't say the losing of this game was down to one player. Of course it wasn't. And he did track back and push him out, and they tried to get around him, but just he got his shot away. The goal, a big moment in this, because that kind of, I think, re-energised St. Vincent. So let's have a look at that. Mossy Quinn delivering a perfect pass to Sean Lamb, and Lamb still had an awful lot of work to do, but he smashed it home.
Lamb came onto the ball and he was moving, whereas the Fianna defender was a bit flat-footed, and that's how he got that yard or two on the outside of him to take the score with his left foot.
Well, look, this is pleasurable viewing for St. Vincent's. It's horror viewing for Na Fianna. I'd be surprised if we've anyone from Na Fianna left watching. It's a sickening blow. Because Na Fianna were so close. They looked so good. They did so many things well today, despite the fact that they were missing the players they were missing. And I'll say it again, there's no club team in the country could be as good without those players. There's Dara Cummins standing there holding all the water bottles. I think he'll need to drink all of that water after the performance he put in today, same as his brother Adrian. Let's have a look at the highlights of the second half. Which started with a Cian Dunn point, and we'll get a look at those highlights in just a second. There's Mossy Quinn, still doing it after all these years, and his pass to Sean Lamb. Well, you just had a look at it there, didn't you? Absolutely perfect.
His dad there, and he'd be very proud of that.
Yep, of course he would. So that was a great pass from Mossy Quinn. This is what started the second half. Cian Dunn made it 8 points to 11, but Na Fianna responded with a David Lacey free. This made it 12-8. A slow enough start in a scoring sense to the second half. This was the 8th minute. The first score came in the 6th. Then Sean Lowry got a wonderful score. Went off injured late in the game. Let's hope he's okay and he's okay for the quarterfinals. That was a good score. It was followed by a Cian Dunn free. That made it 12 points to 10, so just 2 in it at that stage. This, a good run for St. Vincent's. A game-winning run, you can argue as well, because they scored 1-3 without reply here. This is the final point of that run from Albert Martin.
He came into the game an awful, as you said. He was getting himself around the pitch and was very important.
And this is the goal. We've seen it already, but from the Vincent's point of view, can you see it enough, that goal? In fairness, two good points to respond to that goal by Na Fianna. Conor Early guiding it over. That made it a 1-point game. Vincent still leading at that stage. Then a needless foul there, but they played on and got the point from play anyway. David Quinn popping it over. That was the equaliser, 14-11. That's another fine surging run. Gavin Burke giving it back to Dara Cummins. Dara Cummins putting it over. That made it 112 to 14 points. Byrne forcing a good save. And again, these little kind of things turn matches, don't they? And there's Shane O'Leary. He'd pop up again in the second half. And of course, Na Fianna had a goal chance, but early got a couple of good scores that made it 15 points to 112. But Dunn potentially a goal on here, but Dunn just took his point. And if you win, that turns out to be the right option. Aaron Byrne putting this one over, 16 points to 113 at this stage. And then Byrne would pop up again with another score. Just popping that one over. And at that stage, Na Fianna led by 1. And it got so crazy, that's where I stopped taking notes. But this is Burke who guided it over to make it 117. And then this is a huge free.
He's a routine that works. As you know, it's very repetitive, and he has a routine, and what he does is a very systematic cycle about it.
And you're missing the early score there to give Na Fianna, well, not back the lead, but it got them level, and that would have been enough. Actually, here it is. So you just saw the winner, but this is the point that I think most people on the ground, except those wearing white and blue on the pitch, thought had Na Fianna into the next round. That leveled it up, and then we had that winner from Shane O'Leary. So, what happened in O'Toole Park? A game that had no consequence or bearing on this match, or for the positions of the teams involved, because Jude's were going to win the group anyway, and Whitehall were going to finish bottom at it anyway. It went to form. St. Jude's 112, Whitehall, Colmkill 1-9. St. Jude's are another one of those teams who feel that they probably should have won a title in the last maybe 10 years. But no one gives it to you. You have to take it, and they are determined to take it this year. Coming up next on Dubs TV, we have the team who currently have the title. That's Kilmacud Crokes. They're taking on Skerries Harps. No one is safe in this group. No one knows what's going to happen, and anything could happen in the group. We'll outline the situation when we come back. But Paul, just to wrap it up, St. Vincent's beating Na Fianna 18 points to 114, I think it was at the end. Was it? Yeah, 18 points to 116, sorry. It's just an amazing win for Vincents, isn't it?
Yeah, credit to both teams and the subs and the whole lot. The game itself was, timid, but it was quiet, but it wasn't poor. And then it got very exciting towards the end, particularly from that last 15 minutes after the water break. They sort of pushed on both teams and opened up. And, Vincent's deserve it. I didn't think that they would come good. I thought that they're in a building process, and this is a very, very good foundation and a first layer of blocks for them going forward. If they didn't win today or didn't get through today, they would look forward to next season and bringing some of those players through. But I think a number of those players have stepped forward now and are man enough to bring Vincent's again through to the next level, and they look forward to a quarter final, whoever that be against.
Bonus territory, but they'll still want to win it, if that makes sense. So St. Vincent's are through to the quarter-final. They have joined St. Jude's in getting out of Group 4. St. Jude's have won the group. St. Vincent's have finished second. Na Fianna, well, they're safe in senior because they finished third, but their ambition was so much more than that this season. Whitehall, Colmkill, and they knew this before today anyway, are going to the relegation playoffs. Coming up next, our focus switches to Group 2. No team is yet guaranteed their place in the knockout stages. If Crokes win, they will win the group. We know that for certain. If Castleknock and Kilmacud Crokes win, it's very straightforward. Those two will go through. Castleknock are playing against St. Sylvester's concurrently in O'Toole Park. We will have updates on that game because unlike the two matches that have just been on, the two matches that are on next have a bearing on each other, if that makes sense. St. Sylvester's could still go through with a 5-point win over Castleknock. So that'll tell you how mad the group is, because St. Sylvester's have lost both of their games so far. Paul, I think it's only fair that you and I draw a breath and maybe get our heads right for the second game.
And tear up my notes in this first to say how Na Fianna were going through to next round of the championship.
I nearly feel that the Vincents players are lucky. They only had one game to concentrate on today. We have, well, technically 4, because we have to keep an eye on O'Toole Park as well. And things could get confusing. We've got the best minds in Dublin GA, by the way, looking at it for us, because the last two games weren't overly complicated. This could get complicated, but if it goes to form, it won't, if that makes sense. But we have just seen form being kicked out the window by Shane O'Leary. What a point that was. So Vincents are through to the quarterfinals. Jude's have won the group. They're also through to the quarterfinals. who are the next 2 teams to join them? We will find out next on Dubs TV. Join us in a few minutes for Kilmacut Crokes against Skerries Harps, and updates, of course, of Castleknock and St. Sylvester's. Of course, you can join the conversation via social media, hashtag GoAheadDSC. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a while. Stay with us.